I'm passionate about AI, and I think if you don't get on the AI bandwagon as a photographer and as a designer, then I think you're missing out. If you can do it, should you do it? There's the big question.
Does it give you the same feeling than being behind your camera?
Yeah.
That's the scary part, I think. I'm scared for the future of photography for that reason, where you stop experiencing it, you stop taking it yourself, and you just say, hey, I make this for me.
Yes, but it's so compelling, and I want you to try it. I suggest that you never use AI to create any of your photos, but only use AI to pre-visualize for yourself and then go shoot it.
Welcome back to Vallerret's Creative Outsiders, where we look once again for the radical stories from behind the lens. I'm Lukas Riedl as usual, and I'm joined by Carl van der Boom. Carl, what is the latest news?
The latest news, that is a tough question. I gave up a hockey night, but for something way cooler, this podcast.
Today we're joined by someone who has not just helped to shape the tools nearly every creative person uses today, a visionary, an educator, and a true creative out there, Russell Preston Brown. Russell, how are you doing today? Welcome to Vallerret's Creative Outsiders.
I was looking around for the innovator, true creative. What was the other word you used?
Kind of a visionary. It's like
visionary. Yeah, that's.
You saw things before others.
I have seen things. I'm afraid, gentlemen, that I've started Adobe before you guys were born. I'm afraid of that.
And if you people out there don't know about Russell Brown, Dr. Brown, he has been bringing Photoshop to Adobe and developing it to the tool it is today forever, basically.
Do you like to be called Dr. Brown, or is Russell fine? Which one do we go for?
I'm not. We can start with. I'm not truly a doctor. However, I did get a message by mail once, very funny, from the American Medical Association. They thought, because everyone was calling me Dr. Brown, Doc Brown, they assumed I was a doctor. So does that then bless me as an official doctor? So the answer is just refer to me as Doc. There we go. Doc.
All right, I'm going to write this down. So Lukas told me about you and your story, and then where the Adobe came from, and I never knew that. So I've just spent the last couple of weeks binging the series about
Industrial Light and Magic and the brothers and how this all came together.
That far. Do you want to hear that story?
Well, that itself was just mind-blowing on what they do, but where's this Photoshop thing coming into play here? So it's a story about sort of the Star Wars special effects company, sort of the company behind Lucas.
The only mention in that film of me, and my name is the splash screen for Photoshop in 1990. And my name appears there as one of the 4 names.
It's just something that I didn't know at all, that actually Photoshop came from the visual effects side of Star Wars. Like,
I guess it is something that, most people that use it don't really think about, right? Nowadays, it's so widespread. It's on our mobile phones. You have Lightroom and Photoshop and everything on the phones, and you don't really think about what it has been 30, 40 years ago, like with desktop computers and,
Gentlemen, I can take this even farther and say that if it was not for Star Wars, the 3 of us would not be sitting here and having a chat right now. Because if Star Wars did not exist, and I asked John Knoll this, would you have creatively gone off and become a special effects artist at ILM? And he said no, he would not have gone that route. Star Wars is critical to Photoshop coming to life. Wow.
That's just a fact that is like, how do we not know that?
So you can even go farther that, Princess, if there wasn't a Princess Leia, then there was no Photoshop.
So tell us the story, how that went from an effects company kind of tool to something that every photographer uses now.
So it all goes back to John Knoll, one of the brothers, Thomas and John. And so John Knoll is working on a film at ILM because of Star Wars. And his first film that he's working on is The Abyss. I don't know if you've ever seen The Abyss. And the special effects in the Abyss could not have happened without an early version of Photoshop, because John Knoll needed some tools for special effects in the Abyss. So he went to his brother Thomas and said, I need some tools that allow me to edit basic raw data. And so Thomas Knoll wrote something called Display, the first version of Photoshop, and John Knoll used that. And if you're familiar with the film, he was projecting an image onto a liquid tentacle of water in this scene. And that was the first use of Photoshop. So now John Knoll has this tool and he wants more features. And he goes to his brother Thomas. I want to have things like levels and curves to adjust things. And so Photoshop comes to life. And this was in the early days of ILM. And so there we go. There's another thing. If it wasn't for the movie The Abyss, we wouldn't have gone to phase 2, and that was Photoshop. And so there we are. He has Photoshop. It's getting better and better for use with film. And that's why we have an Academy Award for Photoshop, because it was brought to life for video. So now let's move forward. John Knoll says, this is really cool. We should market this. We should sell it to someone and make some money off of this. And so that's when he steps in to Adobe, and that's in 1989. I'm seeing Photoshop for the first time, and it's like holy shit. Here's something running on a Macintosh, and I can control it. And, just days before that, I'm working on what's called a Cytex response system, where you sit behind the operator and you tell them where to move their mouse, and it costs you $1,200 an hour
Oh,
to move the mouse. And it's 1989, but there's this Macintosh sitting in front of me, and I can move the mouse and I can make selections, and the brushes are there and selections are there. Levels is there, and curves, all these early tools. In Wikipedia, it says, Russell Brown ran to John Warnock's office and insisted that they have to buy this thing called Photoshop. I don't know if I ran.
is it accurate?
It is somewhat accurate. I went to John Knoll of the Knoll brothers, and I said, did you read that in Wikipedia? Who wrote that in Wikipedia? And John says to me, Russ, if it's on Wikipedia, it's true.
Yeah.
So there is the urban legend, and on Wikipedia, that Russell Brown was responsible for Adobe purchasing and acquiring Photoshop.
Can I get in here? Because there's one thing that I wanted to point out for the younger listeners, that was the times where the keyboards had like big keys on it, and the mouse was more like a squarey thing with the cable. And just so you guys know what we're talking about, we're not talking wireless things. But I'm more interested in what exactly was the holy shit. What part of it was the holy shit moment?
The holy shit moment was, I think, making a selection. Can you believe this? The magic wand tool seemed a holy shit to me. I was now in charge of my own images. I was in control without having this middle person there standing between me and my image. And it fit on my desktop. It had all the powers of these high-end systems. That was the holy shit moment.
How did you even come across it? Did you know John Knoll before or something?
No.
Or how did you even see it?
Now, John Knoll is going around and looking online. What software company might be interested in this thing called Photoshop? Tried to see if anybody was interested in it, and he just happened to come around this company called Adobe. If you think about this was just the beginning of desktop publishing, and Adobe was missing the final ingredient. We had text with fonts, and we had Illustrator for line work. So we had graphics and text, and all we were missing was photography to bring all of these together to make desktop publishing possible. So this was the final ingredient, and John Warnock, knew that as well. It was the timing in 1989. Everything just was coming together. Boom! all the ingredients to make, to make publishing possible. And I'm living through it, I grew up and when I was in school, I was using stone knives and bear skins, I was scraping bear skins off to put artwork on. I'm that old. And so we didn't have any access to all of these very few computers. And you're rubbing down type on a piece of paper. Rub down type, gentlemen. You've never had to suffer through rub down type. It's a sheet of type, A through Z on a piece of rub down sheet of plastic. And to do typography, you'd rub down each letter one by one.
I do remember as a kid, like we
Okay,
had
you
these,
remember that?
pictures to rub
Okay, you rub
on
down.
things. Yeah.
Imagine it's 12 midnight, you're working on a project, and you've run out of the letter E. So those days of the bearskins and stone knives, I was very pleased to see those go. And so everything changed was in 1989. All the tools come available, the Photoshop, Illustrator, and typography, because that's where I started my world. I started as a graphic designer and photographer. Hey, I was in the darkroom as well.
Yeah, that was my question, because we call ourselves the Vallerret's creative outsiders. So my question would have been like how your creative life has evolved before Adobe. How did you get there? What is all the creativity, which obviously drives you still today? Where does it all come from?
I think you have to be born with creativity. Isn't that terrible? I think there's a certain spark or seed to creativity. My explosion of creativity was the moment I discovered that I could create hydrogen, and hydrogen's extremely explosive, and I made hydrogen from something called Drano. And this is all about creativity now. I want to make I realize Russ is making hydrogen. You put it into a balloon, and gentlemen, you take the balloon outside, it rises into the air with a small thread from the balloon, and you've seen creativity. You've seen a vision of a balloon exploding with hydrogen in midair. And for 1 second, gentlemen, there's a sun sitting in the sky above you. This perfectly round, glowing orange light with a red around it. And you have created a sun in the sky. Gentlemen, that is the beginning of creativity. It is the most glorious thing, hydrogen exploding in the sky. But that brings back the creativity. I think it takes a certain amount of passion for the discovery and the unknown and what is possible. And I've brought that discovery and experimentation here into the future. I do not blow up balloons anymore, but boy, I wish I could. But I bring that explosive energy into everything I do now, from photography and working in Photoshop. And I have this endless passion for new tools and new things I can explode and new ideas. And when I go off to Norway to photograph the night sky, that's just another form of explosions in the sky. What do you think about that? Wow, I just thought about that. Russ is always liking seeing explosions in the sky, and the most recent visit to Norway was truly, wait a minute, gentlemen, I'm making some revelations here. What is this thing with the sun and plasma and throwing it at the earth, and the earth hitting magnetic fields and turning nitrogen and oxygen into explosive colors?
Yeah, as you said, like you're either you feel like you're born with being
Yeah,
creative,
I
or you're
think-
not.
I
And I feel like that's quite accurate. But I also, because I have the same. Someone's asked me the same question, and I was like, I think you've always just had it. You've always just either been creative or you haven't been creative. But I think maybe when you're, this is getting a little deep, I guess. But when you're a kid and you're drawing and you're doing stuff, when you don't understand yet that what you're doing is like looking good or looking bad, you're just doing it,
Yes.
and you continue doing it, right? And I feel like that's where the line where you go, all kids are creative. It's only to a point where they self-realize I'm not very good, and then you stop. And I think creativity continues if you don't have that barrier, if you just, or you ignore it, or you feel like you're doing well, then you just continue. And then now you've got a creative mindset for life.
I
But
think
that's
you've hit it. Everybody has this creative spark when they're a kid. They're experimenting, trying things out, but then we either forget it or we stop doing it. As you said, we see someone else who's more creative than we are. But aren't we all looking for that one thing that we are successful at and we can exceed? And
well, it's more fun to do stuff you're good at, right?
yeah, and I've always said, here comes my quote of the day: fall in love with what you love doing, and eventually someone will pay you to do it. Now that sounds that's sort of pay. The money's sort of important in life, but it's absolutely the truth. If you become the expert at photography, the ultimate expert at photography, you love it so much that it becomes part of you. Or you could say that true of a musician as well. Choose something that really, really intrigues you and become so good at it that you are the best at it, and somebody's going to come find you. I do that all day. I'm looking for people who are the best at the best, and then I know that I can't do that. I can't be as good as that musician. So I'll go hire that musician and bring them to my event. That's exactly what I do. Yeah, there's my words of wisdom. Just stop everything else. Become the best. Gentlemen, what are you the best at? What are you the best? Making gloves. Are you the best at making gloves?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll
there we
just say
go.
yes.
Okay.
I didn't expect anything else from Carl. Like, what? Because whenever we criticize a design or we have feedback that isn't on him, he says no very confidently. He's convinced about his design, and I trust it nowadays. Like 10 years in, I do not doubt that anymore. If Carl
Well, I
says
think-
it works, it works.
I think when we talk about design and creativity, it's personal taste, right? So like if you really like your design, or if you really like your music, or whatever it is, creative, you're going to hit some people, but you can't hit everyone, right? You can't please everyone. So that's my conclusion when it's come to being creative, is like you can always fiddle with stuff, you can always play with your picture, you can always make a different design. Are you making it better, right? Or are you doing it for yourself? Or because you can't make a piece of art, a piece of design that's going to fit 100% of your consumer. And so you just make it the best as you can make it, the best as long as you like it. And you've got something to stand behind. That's why there's so many cameras out there. There's not one camera that can do everything. Photoshop still keeps coming out with new tools because some other people want something new, right? It develops over time, but you're never ever going to get a perfect product for everyone, or a perfect piece of art, or a perfect design. But I don't think that's the goal either.
I got a question for both of you. We're going to bring up AI, and you said tools.
All right, let's do it.
I'm passionate about AI, and I think it's a tool. And I think if you don't get on the AI bandwagon as a photographer and as a designer, then I think you're missing out. Ignoring it and saying, I hate that, without even trying it, is the wrong approach. I think you have to explore it and see this new tool and see how it might benefit your workflow. So with that, I was curious. I use AI all the time. Have you, gentlemen, ever used AI in your design work? Would you ever go down that path? Can AI do something for glove makers?
Totally. I want to be someone that doesn't get old and has no, like, uses the technology, but I also know I'm a complete late adopter. So, but I keep telling myself this is the difference of like the film age and digital age. Like if you were a film photographer and you didn't move over to digital,
Yeah.
like then you got left behind, right?
Yes.
And you're just like, you can have all the excuses, but at the end of the day, it's going to take over. So I'm trying to implement it more in our flow, but I'm not great at exploring all that's available to really get something that works. So I use it more for like concepting, idea generation.
Okay.
I haven't yet been able to figure out the tools to kind of really helping with the workflow, but it helps definitely with like, I used it the other day to just do a rendering of something. I gave it the line drawing, and I was like, render this with good light, and then I didn't have to do that myself, right? Like, I did the design, and it rendered up a picture for me.
Cool. Oh, cool.
And
Something
now
like,
the Terminator's gonna wear our gloves because you gave it the design, right?
Terminator's gonna wear your clothes.
I'm just kidding. I got it. I have an example of this as well. It's like there is a lot of buzz, obviously, and there's a lot of emotion in the whole AI conversation. That's for sure. But I have one example. It's like, and I have been hesitant for reasons of fake news and all this kind of stuff. Where that's a humanity thing. There is a great technology that used to or should be a tool to support good stuff, and what we use it for mostly in the public eye, at least, is like the bad stuff. But I always hated making storyboards. I love making a story, like writing a script or like putting it down. I love that. But then like making a storyboard, I'm not blessed with like the finesse of drawing something nice. So it was like these hangmans and arrows, and no one else could get the storyboard that I made for the video or the clip except myself, and then I had to explain it. And now
Can I
do the
put
same-
something in there real quick?
Yeah, I
Lucas?
basically give the same hangman and some arrows to an AI, and I get a beautiful storyboard, and everyone gets it.
That's fantastic.
And it takes me, I don't know, even less than actually making the hangman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with the part that you said, the tool, and it's something you should explore in the ways that it can help you. And please, people out there, only use the good ways.
Yeah. I used to be Lucas's AI because you just reminded me of something that I remember when you were doing your design school.
Yeah, for film school, you made nice.
Film school.
Can I say this now? Is it long enough ago?
Are they going to take it away from you? You'd
I'm not
send
sure.
you'd send me your script, and I'll draw I'll draw up your storyboards for you. Send them back.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
I
Sorry, film school.
highly
Sorry, film school.
I cheated.
listen. A Spielberg or a Hitchcock is not necessarily going to be doing their own sketches. They're going to talk to their sketch artist, and that sketch artist is going to create the work for them. And in many cases, that sketch artist is going to insert and add to the script through their work. And in many cases, the directors, as I've seen, will grab onto those ideas. I actually known one of these sketch artists, and the director stole the idea completely and told the world it was theirs. So yeah, I have a lot of strong feelings
Okay. I
about
see.
down.
It's not unusual.
Yeah, not unusual. Yeah, when I heard that story once about a sketch artist giving and then the famous director, unnamed, took it as his own idea. That bugs the hell out of me.
I think that's an interesting conversation though,
Yeah.
because you've got AI, you've got photos,
Yeah.
photography. Where does that sit now? Because I know you can just tell AI to go and create me an image, and that's, I think,
Yeah.
and I think that's the scary part, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that there's always going to be, you want to capture your experience. That's always going to exist because you're not going to have the experience just because AI made you the image. But where does it fit on like maybe a commercial level? I don't know. Like, it's going to make a lot of people jobless, or like hinder the industry, or is it going to grow the industry, or what's your prediction?
My theory and my workflow is that I only use photographs that I've taken, and I let AI combine those photographs together. So, for example, I'm not going to have AI generate an aurora for me. I'm going to photograph, and I'm photographing only with my iPhone. I'm going to photograph the auroras, in this case in Norway, and then I can combine that with a really good foreground. I took the foreground, I took the aurora, I put them together like I would in a darkroom. So I won't go to the next step of generating an aurora.
Because you've always been able to do that with Photoshop. It's just now takes you 30 seconds instead of 2 hours.
And what is the future? The future is going to be a lot more AI compositing, AI masking, AI expanding, adding elements to your photographs. It is It is just what Photoshop used to be. It's just much, much faster. Taking my own photographs. I even worked with stock imagery. I didn't have a dog. I didn't have a horse. I needed a horse. I wanted to insert a horse in my composite photograph. And I would go try and find just the right horse in just the right position, prancing her. And boy, now it's just pull up any horse. And in fact, it could be my photograph of the horse, but these days I can say, make my horse run, make my horse stand on its back legs. So you have that control, and I say this is control. You are the curator for your new photograph. Everybody thinks just type in, make me a really fantastic photo. Well, that's not the way it works.
No.
You have to give it the components to bring it together. Hey, who knows, maybe in the future, Terminator will come in and he will make something that really good. But I don't think AI has any good sense of a good photograph yet. I don't think AI has a sense of design.
Yeah. So speaking of, have I used it for design? I was trying to I've just spent the last couple of days making a print graphic to put on some material.
Okay.
And I tried to get AI to do it for me.
Oh,
And it just wasn't hitting the mark.
no.
It's like, no matter what I typed in, how much I described what I wanted, it just wasn't hitting the mark. And then even the images were like, I couldn't use that to go and print. The quality was crap.
Yeah.
So then I went old-fashioned and just did it all myself again.
In terms of resolution, these are just the early days. Even Adobe has increased their resolution from 1K to now it's 2K. Tomorrow it's going to be 4K. I'm joking. It's just the way things happen so fast. Things are happening so fast, gentlemen. I'm behind the times on what's new inside of Photoshop. There was one day back in 1990 when we came out when I felt like I was I knew more than everybody else. And now I'm in a position where I feel like I know less than everybody else because it's just happening so fast. But yeah, back to AI, and I just hope everybody, no matter what they're doing, that they give it a try and just don't ignore it. And will jobs be lost? I think new jobs will be created.
Yeah, I guess like for sure, but in terms of photography, like the photographers, it's going to change, right?
Am I going to sit and type a visit to Norway, or am I going to go to Norway? The answer is I'm going to go to Norway.
That'll exist because experiences still exist, right? Like you still want the experience.
I'm an old school guy. I'm an old guy. Will a 20-year-old of today type in Aurora in Norway and be satisfied with that?
Okay, it's a good question.
Yeah, because the travel is expensive and the complications and will I as a client accept that photograph? It's going to appear in some brochure. There are more questions here, and there's more than I can answer myself in terms of the future of AI and design. See, in the beginning, when Photoshop first came out, I went on to a television show and called it Today Show in 1990, and I'm there for the first time talking, to thousands of people online on this TV show, and I said I would never give up Photoshop and the ability to alter images. And I said that back in 1990. It scared the shit out of a lot of people. Here's Russ altering photographs. And here I am once again saying, I would never give up AI at this time. So maybe there's this, as we said, this correlation between the two. We do not know where it's going to go. I don't know if I can predict where it's going to go. I think anyone can. Let's get to our sports. I'm on this wave. I'm on the surfboard on the wave, and I'm going to ride this thing. And if the wave's going to crash, everyone predicts, the crash of AI. I might go down with it, but I'm going to have a heck of a lot of fun traveling on the wave.
Oh, yeah.
As it
I
goes.
mean, you have if AI goes down, you still have all the tools and the knowledge you have made on your way, right?
Yeah.
Compared to, because you mentioned 20-year-olds before, will they go to Norway? Because I totally agree that it is a tool that should be used if you do it in a moral and ethical way, obviously. But do you think all the tools that are available change the way we think as creatives or how we think creatively?
No, it just gives me, for me, it lets me even be 1,000 times more creative. I can think up ideas. Do you guys, general, do you wake up at 3 a.m. with ideas? I wake up at 3 a.m. with these just crazy ideas, and then I can bring them to life now so much faster. I made a movie the other day that I've been dreaming of making a movie about this idea, and it was only possible through AI that I could make this movie. I hired my actors and my lighting crew, and I went on location and made this movie in Adobe Firefly. Gosh, these tools are absolutely much, much more creative. The ability to do things you've never done before.
So
No.
what role did the AI play in that movie you made?
I
Like if
don't-
you filmed it all and did everything, what did the AI help
Yeah,
you with?
and I can share the movie with you later. You can show people we're talking about it. It's just a 3-minute movie. I had this idea when I was a kid living in the Seattle area about a couple on the beach, and the tide is coming in, and they're having a conversation on the beach. And during the conversation, the tide comes in and washes them out to sea. And so I start with imagery, and I find the best way to work with AI is to start by creating a storyboard. We discussed. I do a storyboard of each frame at the beginning of my script and then the last portion of the script. So 2 frames with AI is all it needs, and then it makes the frames between it, which is really a fantastic miracle, because if I've got a photograph of a woman's face reading a book and my second frame is her walking down the beach, well, then the camera pulls back and then she sets down the book and she walks away from the camera, and I'm going, wow, wow.
So you just took the photos. You didn't
Yeah.
take any videos. You just took the photos.
There,
Okay.
no video was ever shot of my movie. I created photos and then said, bring these photos to life with Adobe Firefly is how I made my video. Sorry, I didn't explain that. I was sort of like,
Yeah.
duh, everybody knows that's how you do it.
I can already see 100 people typing in come my photos to life onto any of the AI agents. I guess it's not as easy as a prompt.
Gentlemen, bringing photos to life, there's a whole topic. I'm a night photographer, and not only bringing photos to life for my video, but I love time lapse and I love day to night. And I have discovered, and if you look at my Instagram site, you'll see I'm taking daytime photos with an iPhone, and the iPhone takes a great daytime photo. Clear, clean, all the details. And then you ask AI, turn this daytime photo into a night photo, turn on all the lights. Oh, and by the way, there's one light coming from the left, and it's lighting up the person's face, and the clouds are in the background, and oh, there's stars and the Milky Way. Ay, 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 ay. I there was a time when I was young and in my 20s, and I could go out and do these photos at night and stay up till midnight or 2 a.m. in the morning. But now the beauty of this old man taking pictures in the daytime and recreating night photography from a daytime photo, or recreating a video from a still photo. Unbelievable. I don't know. This child in a candy store.
The tool is amazing. What? And I've seen a lot of cool videos and stuff just for entertainment, and but then going, I don't want to stay up for the nighttime and experience this. Just give me the photo of this daytime shot. That's the scary part, I think. Where you go,
Okay, did I scare you?
I'm not. What are you using that photo for
Yeah.
when it's turned to nighttime? Is it just for your own
Look,
personal thing, or is
That's
it?
a good test. I scared you when I said that. So it's a very good test.
I guess I'm scared for the future of photography for that reason, where you stop experiencing it, you stop taking it yourself, and you just say, "Hey, I make this for me." But you're giving it some. You're obviously giving it
Yeah.
one photo, but then you're not just sort of, hey, take out this fence post or like
No.
put a horse in here. You're saying like recreate it
Yes.
in an experience I never had.
Yes. But It's so compelling. And I want you to try it. I want you to try. I'm going to tell you to do an evil thing. I want you to take a daytime photo
Sure.
and bring it into Photoshop, do a select all. I want you just to try it once and then see, see if you ever want to do it again. You're going to go into shock. It's going to touch a nerve with you. Either the nerve is going to be a good one or a bad one.
Can I raise the stakes on that? Because what
Yeah,
I would
yes.
love to see is
Yes.
me or Carl go somewhere where we have been taking night photography.
Where you
by
have
ourselves.
been. Yes, yes.
Or you take the same shot on daytime
Yes.
and then do this. Does it give you the same feeling than being behind your camera,
Yeah.
having that photo pop up on your screen, and you see and you know immediately, you know, that moment when your hair stand up?
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
back.
yes.
It's like,
I
will that ever be the same feeling?
I challenge you, Carl.
I will do it. Russell, I've thought of an image I've got.
Take a
I took
daytime
a-
picture. Carl, you're just gonna open up that photo and say, turn this daytime photo to a night photo.
But I've thought of something.
Okay,
Russell, I've thought of something. I was biking with my family a year or so ago
Yeah.
through this industrial area. There were these big pipes, water pipes, all stacked up. And
Yes.
I took a snapshot of it, and I was
Yes.
like, "This will be a great spot for a nighttime."
Yes.
I light the tubes up. I put a skateboarder in here. So I went back and did it, and I'm so stoked with the image. But then I've got the actual image that I wanted. I got it, but I also have the daytime
Yes.
sort of location scouting image, and I'll see if AI does it. But I think I don't question that AI can't do it. My question is, does it mean as much to me? Because once I got that image, I was like, oh, I had the vision. I went back and I executed, and now I'm super stoked. Will I get the same feeling from AI generating it for me?
If you can do it, should you do it? There's the big question. I suggest that you never use AI to create any of your photos, but only use AI to pre-visualize the skateboarder in that location. And so you go scout a location, you work with that daytime photograph, and you evaluate all your lighting options ahead of time.
That's super cool idea.
And then you go back and you do
Yes.
it. There's a location that I only visited in the daytime, and I went through a variety of lighting scenarios. The lights come from the left, the lights come from above, the lights come from the right. And I went through all of those experimental options.
Because that I love. That I can get on board with.
Am I
it's a tool.
redeeming myself? Have I redeemed?
Yeah. You're back in the group.
Okay.
You're back in the game.
No need to redeem. But
I knew that I'd gone off the edge, and so I was going to close my session with that one.
what you said just now was absolutely lighting up the bulb in my head. It was like, because when we used to go location scouting, so you take those snapshots with your phone, and then you need to know how this looks at whatever sunset 6 months from now.
Yes.
And for that, this is amazing. I have it's like written down now. I'll try that immediately.
Oh, good. Oh, great. So if
Just
that's
to
my
see.
closing statement to night photographers, is don't use it for real stuff. Use it for pre-visualization and what lights to bring with you to the session that you're going to go to. That's how I'm closing it. So you're in favor of this idea.
Well, you brought me back.
You're welcome.
Okay, good.
Because now you've got my creative mind going again. Like, oh yeah, there's this shot I've always wanted to get. Is it even possible?
Yeah, is it even?
Or
I guess that might be the trick about it. Like once you turned that creative with the camera and the lights and everything into the creative mode with what could be possible with this new tool, that's when it clicks, kind of.
The evil thing is that you're going to see one of these test shots, these pre-visualizations, and you're going to love it. You're going to love it so much. And
It's possible.
You're going to go back and try and recreate it, and maybe it wouldn't be able to.
It's probably the AI is going to make a better image than I can make, probably. But I'm not going to have the experience of actually making it. And that's the fun part, is getting up early, going for the hike, getting for the sunset, experiencing that, whether or not the image or whatever, as an example, you can't recreate that from behind your desk. Because I think that's from a personal level too, though. I enjoy going to get the experience. But if we're doing like commercial work or something, and I can just sit behind my computer and create the image, and I don't have to go and spend hours doing it to give to the client, I would do that. Is it ethical? I don't know.
would you show, let's imagine your project is to light this skateboarder for a client and you pre-visualize it. Would you show him these pre-visualizations, or would you only pre-visualize it for yourself and then go shoot it? Wow, because the client,
I would use AI. I would use AI to make a shitty one
Take
of
that,
the one that I liked
take that, and make it
and
shit.
show that to the
I know
customer.
what you do, Carl. We would make an AI image, and then we'd give it to Lucas, and he would sketch over it with his pen.
Yeah, with the stick figures.
We'd
Put some stick figures on it.
We turn it into stick figures, but you've got something to trace over, Lucas. So you have a guiding light. So you show the client the bad sketch. Oh, here's my words. I would never show a client something that looks too clean.
I hate even showing people, like, if I've been shooting a snowboard, I hate showing them just all the images until I've edited them, because they're always like, I like that one, I like that one. And you're like, that one sucks, that one sucks. wait till I've done it, and I'll show you the good one.
The cleaner your sketch is, the more you're locked into that, or they can really hate it. The rougher your sketches for initial presentation are always the best way to go. But we live in these days of everything, it's a little bit too easy for designers to create. I'm imagining things look pretty clean in a presentation today. Back in my day, we have to use markers and pens, and we have to have illustration skills. Good grief. You had to do better than stick figures back in my school. I went to Art Center College of Design in a place in Pasadena. And each day you had to come to class with 32 comps, as we called them, 32 examples of a logo, 32 examples of a advertising page. Good grief. Good grief. What the hell? I can't even imagine.
That's a lot of work.
Then I think AI could come up with 32 variations on a logo in seconds. Did I ever think in all my years, did I ever think I'd come to this point where this industry would come to AI? And I feel blessed that I'm alive and that I'm getting to see everything from bearskins and knives to Terminator.
I feel like you've probably got all the arguments already from when Photoshop came out.
Yeah.
There must have been huge arguments against that.
Yeah, but they'll say, I love the comparison. Those are tools that can't turn around and make themselves better. I think what it scares people is these tools can learn to be smarter than we are, or better than we are in some ways. And so maybe that's the scary part as well. It's not experiencing the nighttime photography. It's not participating in the piece. Things are generated for you. One of my instructors said that all art became bad when we moved from carving in stone. Because if you're carving in stone, there is no undo. And so his theory was that if there is an undo, you have lost your skill as a true artist. Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
And so we're no longer artists.
Control Z is my favorite thing on the computer.
And it's certainly a super interesting angle.
It's kind of a pivotal moment in the industry, right? Where this is coming in, it's new tools, it's new technology. But I'm also curious, this is could
Go for it.
the Vallerret outsiders, creative outsiders, and we've been talking about sitting behind a computer for a while. I'm interested to why you use an iPhone and not a camera.
That's a good, let's go down that path. Yeah.
Your generation, people that have more life experience, that are older, they are more scared of new technologies, right? I know people in your age that have a hard time taking a photo on a phone, or like sending, those encrypted texts where you get like, what's that about to mean? Because they don't figure out autocorrect and all those things. So, but you constantly left technology behind that you were, acquainted with, that you knew very well, and you took the new thing that you didn't know and get after it. So how do you think that evolved?
What made me go down this path? Simplicity. So there I am photographing with a DSLR, I think 2007. And I think it's the combination of the iPhone and Lightroom. We get to our sales pitches. Those two coming together, Lightroom and a phone, brought that simplicity of capturing the image and then editing it immediately on my phone and my rolls of film were on my phone. It went into the cloud. The simplicity that my phone and my iPad and my desktop were all connected. There was that 2007 moment where everything came together. And not that I'm lazy, the lazy old man, it's so much into simplicity. And here's the point. Why does he use an iPhone? I want to go on location so badly, and I want to get there, and I don't want to think about anything but the photo. And that's what the iPhone does. You just set up the iPhone and shoot it. And with, I don't know, the magicians behind these things and the new camera applications are incredible. So there I am in Norway, and I set up my iPhone on a tripod, and the iPhone looks at the scene, and it determines that, how it knows this, to do a 3-second exposure on the aurora, which happens to be just right. It could be more like a 2-second exposure, but gentlemen, I just want to tap on the screen, and everything else is done for me. It's calculating the exposure, it's calculating the time, and it grabs a really great photo. And I see the person next to me and tinkering with their Canon or Nikon and getting the right aperture, the right exposure time, the right ISO. I don't have any desire for those. I could hear you go, no, he not only does he not want to go into the nighttime in the dark, but he's a lazy bum, and he just wants to use a phone because if it gives me a great image immediately, simply, and boy, that's what I love about it. It's low resolution, but I live in a low resolution world. I post things on Instagram and Facebook, and here's the other evil part. I'm thinking I'm so evil today. I can upres my images now. I can sharpen my images. I can take out the grain from my images. Yes, there is a place in this world for high-end DSLRs. Oh my goodness, the detail you can get is incredible. But this immediacy, the software is there. The tools are there on my phone, ready to go. Let's say, time lapse, like star rotations, which I love to photograph. Again, just set this up automatically on a tripod and go into the star rotation mode in my application I'm using, and you end up with a fantastic star rotation, star trails, light painting. Yeah, there's something about this combination of things all coming together, the simplicity. Yeah, I'll ask you, gentlemen, am I lazy? No,
No?
I'm not lazy. I believe, here's my final statement. I believe, we've been speaking about creativity. I believe the iPhone challenges me to be more creative because I have less resolution and I have fewer capabilities. I have to be as creative as possible to get the photograph that the guy next to me with the DSLR can capture instantaneously, but I got to be pretty darn sneaky and know how to make this thing work and how to use Lightroom to make the images look better. So I think it increases my creativity. I close with that statement. Now you may speak.
I think that's a good closing statement too, because just because you have the high-end camera doesn't make your images good. It just makes them whatever, like
Yeah.
picture quality good, but you still need to know how to take a picture, how to compose it, how to put the elements together.
Yes.
If you have the fundamentals of a photographer, you can use any camera.
That's what I forgot. I take great photos, but you can't just go out with your iPhone and take great photos. I've done that. What is it? 10,000 photos you need to take before? I've just been doing this for 40 years, taking photographs, and I now know where to stand and where to point it. That's one thing I forgot. Yeah, duh. I could take any phone, any camera, and point it, and I have the skill to know where I should point that and when I should point it and why. And so that's the final portion of the equation. Are we saying that I'm so talented? I could shoot an aurora with a pinhole camera?
I think we're saying that. I'd go that far.
Yeah. I think talent does come into play that equation. Yes.
Fantastic.
Boy, I am such blessed to have these this toy that and the lenses are there. I went to the Antarctica once, and everybody's going, "You're just going with an iPhone? You're spending all this money to go to Antarctica?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, because I got all my lenses and all my settings, and I've got everything here ready to go."
Do you ever put like an attachment lens on it?
Yes,
For like
I
a
do. That's a good point to bring up. What are the tools he uses? I do love a good wide angle lens. I use a fisheye.
man, your photography bag must be like a little purse.
Well, I don't know. I'm offended by that.
It's like
A little
it's a good
purse.
thing. I think it's a good thing because man, I
It is.
carry around some
I
gear
do. I do
sometimes.
carry around a purse,
Little tiny lenses.
and I get asked several times by several people, where do I get that purse? No, I have I I do not like to travel with a lot of lenses. I'm thinking again about Antarctica. In Antarctica, I don't know if you've been there before, you have just so much weight you can bring with you. And so there's like the 50-kilo limit. And all these photographers are struggling. These huge glass lenses, and they're putting them into their jackets because they don't weigh the person. They get through the screening by having all of their heavy glass tucked in their outfits or slipped inside their gloves, and I'm underweight. I'm not having any problem at all, and that I love the beauty of that, and I don't have to bring out all my lenses and lay them in a tray on the conveyor belt and the search at the airport. I just love not having to go through that hassle. But boy, are their photographs fantastic, and boy, those photographs can be printed in a large book. And boy, they can get that photograph of that penguin jumping through the water much more than I. We didn't even discuss the video capabilities of this are really fantastic as well. So I have a video camera and a still camera working with it. Yeah. So
Nice.
I'm not going to convince anybody to switch over to the iPhone, but boy, you see it more and more. And what's hilarious, I got to say one more thing. I'm in Greenland on a boat, and I'm the only person shooting with a phone. And then everyone else has their DSLRs out. And then there's one point in the trip where everybody puts their DSLR down and they're picking up their iPhone and they're photographing with their iPhone. And I'm going around the boat. Hey, you can't do that. Listen, you can't cheat like that. And so we see more and more of everybody's carrying around their phone to catch the shot with the iPhone. Maybe it's the color that they're looking for. Maybe it's the immediacy of it. Very sort of fun to see that.
Because we have been talking about all the fun stuff that modern technology has given us, I was wondering if you remember the last photo you've been taking on film.
The last photos on film would have been in Mexico in 1976. And I was out of high school, and I'm traveling through Mexico and I'm living off of $100 a month. Now, let's just say that again. $100 a month is what I'm spending to survive in Mexico. Those were the days. What a beautiful time. When was the last time I was in a dark room shooting film? But of course, I'm shooting film on up to 1990. But I didn't see myself as a photographer as much as a graphic designer coming out of college, going through school. I was hiring photographers to do portraits and shooting models and such. Even my days at Atari, gentlemen, we didn't go into Atari days. So I worked for Atari promoting video games for young kids. And that is in 1980, Atari. And then from Atari, I went to Apple for 6 months doing freelance work. And then after that freelance work at Apple in 1984, then at Adobe in 1985. So there was the 3 A's, Atari, Apple, and Adobe. It's an interesting combination. Obviously, you can see I had this sort of passion and intrigue for computers. And if you couldn't get your hands on a computer, the closest thing was an Atari computer back in the 80s. And so that's what was compelling to me. Yeah, we didn't discuss the photography, computers merging together. And I grew up with this technology and just got better and better that's the reason I'm blessed that I'm alive today. How did I live in this particular time when all the technology came to be what it is? And
It's pretty amazing what's happened in the
Yeah.
last 60 years,
yeah,
and
On-
versus like the 100 years before that.
yeah.
What if Russell Brown wouldn't have known John Knoll? How would the creative community look nowadays?
Yeah, I desperately would, if I had this It's a Wonderful Life moment with Jimmy Stewart, where he speaks with the angel and says, what if you didn't exist? Let me show Jimmy Stewart what life would be like without him, to see how important he was. I think I really would like to go back and see where would I be? Where would the world be? Where would Adobe be? I really want to see Adobe didn't make it and it crashed and Microsoft came out with Photoshop. I'd like to see that I was in that multiverse, that I was super influential in this universe to make things what they are today. Think I know that there are people who wouldn't be in the position they are today. There's people who I brought into Adobe. My superpower, everybody has a superpower. My superpower isn't my incredible design work. My superpower isn't my incredible photography, even though it is very good. My superpower, my superpower is bringing the right people together at the right time. So I think I'm finding creative people. I use them to do special projects. They meet someone at one of my events. I meet the two of you. Somehow there's going to be some, connection there. It's the superpower is bringing people together and bringing the right people together, which then seeds more creativity and new projects. Yeah, that's my legacy. I like that legacy. But that gets away from Jimmy Stewart, and I do want to see what Jimmy Stewart would do if he didn't exist. But and I think it would all relate to the people I brought together. I think there would be people who didn't get to know each other, and that would be the biggest crime in this multiverse. Ooh. Dee, 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 dee.
Amen. Amen.
What a thought experiment.
But it's a great ending. It's like maybe that's something that all people should more focus on, not on their own role.
Well, we need to close this with, is Russell Brown insane? And I believe in the multiverse, and I believe in interdimensional travel, and I believe, here's my theory, that all of these objects visiting our dimension, these UFOs, these objects that move in ways that are physically impossible in our dimension, rapidly moving from 0 to 1,000 miles per hour. These are all drones and probes from other dimensions observing us. And so there aren't civilizations thousands of miles, millions of miles away from us, gentlemen. They live right next door and they're visiting us. And so that's how they get in. They've figured out how to travel between dimensions. Okay,
So that's how you got the name Doc.
yeah,
Is that where Doc comes from?
Yeah. So Russ is truly insane. Okay. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
No, I think it's true. Interdimensional. They're not millions of miles away. They are just next door, and they know how to get through the dimensional void there. Okay. There's my crazy theory of the day, but those are good.
We rename it to like the creative outside thinking is the new name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up with some quick fire?
Yeah.
I thought I have a creative idea for the end of the last episode for this winter's Vallerret's Creative Outsiders. I do the quickfire question, but Carl's answering, and Doc is telling us if Carl's answer is correct. Does it make sense
So
to
I'm
you?
going to answer for Doc.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, all
you're
right, I got
asking
you.
Carl.
New game.
You're asking Carl a question, and then I have to say, false.
Yeah.
Correct.
True. Okay.
So I've got to. Hey, wait, you give me a second to get on this mind. There's aliens next door. AI is great.
I
And
keep it
use an
easy.
iPhone.
I keep
Okay,
it
I'm
easy
there.
for you. I keep it easy for you. Okay. So analog or digital?
Digital.
That is correct. That's correct. True.
Precision or play?
Play.
Correct again. Correct. Yeah.
Been listening. Been learning.
Yes. Desktop or mobile?
Mobile.
Absolutely. Yes, true.
Helium or hydrogen?
Oh, that one I'm not science enough to know which one might explode more. Hydrogen. We'll go hydrogen.
Oh, you win. It's only hydrogen. Hydrogen. No. Helium is the wrong answer. Hydrogen. Okay, you're on a roll. Do you have any one more for him? Dodge or burn?
Oh, I'm gonna go with the burn.
It's correct. Very good. Very good. But the real question was, did you know what those meant?
Yeah.
That's
I had to think a little bit though on which one meant which.
Have you ever
but-
done dodging and burning in a darkroom?
Not on the darkroom, no.
Did you know we're going to change the terms dodge and burn inside of Photoshop to lighten and darken? Because no one in their 20s knows what dodge and burn means anymore.
That makes sense.
Okay, I have one more.
Yeah.
So, what's the coolest company to work for? Adobe, Atari, or Apple?
Well, I just have to base that on the fact he's been at Adobe for so long that it's got to be Adobe.
Yeah, it has to be Adobe. It definitely was not. I'm not going to say. Oh, I almost foolishly said something. No, it's Adobe. Yeah, that's where all that.
5 out of 5.
Yeah,
We should do this every time.
yeah. You get 5 out of
was a fun
5 every
game.
time.
No, this is the first time I've done that. Normally the guest answers the questions.
No,
But I liked it.
those are all the answers that I would have given, and you got them all correct. Very good.
That's
Hey, it was a real
perfect.
pleasure, Doc Russell Brown,
Yes.
to join us. I really enjoyed the conversation and had a lot of fun. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
inviting me.
Thanks for sharing
I'm-
your stories.
And the test will be whether Dave Williams will watch it till the end. So we're gonna quiz him on that. We'll see what happens.
We'll do it. We'll send them a
Alright.
quiz.
That is
Thank you
correct.
so much,
And
gentlemen. A pleasure.
for all the other people listening, not just Dave, but for all the listeners and people watching us on YouTube, you can find all the links, background info, and resources about Russell in our show notes below, or just go to Wikipedia and you can read about him running through Adobe. There's a full video version on YouTube. We try to add some additional visuals or behind the lens content. So if you want to see more, head over there, subscribe, leave us a comment. And before we sign off, I just want to let you know this wraps up our first season of Vallerret's Creative Outsiders. We will all see you and hear you, or you will hear us and see us next winter. See you guys.